Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mendel the Leadhound. The Victory Fire Nuzlocke has come to an end. It was another successful series, and I can't wait to start the next one. In fact, I already have. But this video is simply to sum up my thoughts on Victory Fire and move forward from there. So let's get started. I'll start with my positive points because those are unfortunately about on par with my negative points, but they're slightly less. Anyways, so my first positive point is the variety of the Pokemon, because the Pokemon variety in this game was wonderful. Pokemon all the way to the 6th generation, even though it is obviously a 3rd generation mod. And I really enjoy that, and I liked all the Pokemon I got to use some Pokemon that I hardly ever use, either by choice or simply because they're not often available to me. And I like it when the games don't have the standard, what you expect from each route. Luckily, this game was not that at all. Secondly, I really enjoyed the challenge of this game because this game was exceptionally challenging. Even right from the very beginning, it was difficult right away, and it didn't really let up, which I really like. I want my Pokemon games, especially the ROM hacks, I want them to be very difficult and maybe not unforgiving. I wouldn't want to use that word. I want it to be somewhat forgiving, and this game could be unforgiving at times, but I want it to really present a challenge that you have to overcome, not just, short road bumps or speed bumps that you just go right over, something that you have to substantially try and put your mind to and test you and your team's might. So, that was awesome. One thing that wasn't so awesome, unfortunately, was the translation of this game, which really had me confused at times. There were times when I had no idea what people were saying, and I was just completely lost because the translation just seemed to be direct, and it was very broken, and it really followed no coherent sentence structure, I suppose. It was ridiculous to try and figure out what everyone was saying, because sometimes it was just impossible. And next is the pacing of the game, because the game was not paced the best. I obviously, there's the whole issue at the beginning of when do I get the Pokeballs. It wasn't until after the first gym that you get Pokeballs, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, usually that's something you get, or some Pokemon games, they give you you're allowed to get balls right away. But in this one, you had to wait so long, and I just thought it was ridiculous and unnecessary. I could have done without that. I could have done with some Pokeballs earlier. Luckily, we did get that Ekans early on, so I suppose if you really wanted to, you could consider that the start of the Nuzlocke. But that doesn't make any sense because you're not able to catch Pokemon. So overall, you should have gotten Pokeballs earlier. That's all I have to say about that. And lastly, I will mention the tiles of the game, because it was sometimes difficult, especially at one part in particular that I'm sure everyone who watched the series remembers. One part in particular where I had no idea where to go, even though technically it was right in front of me, but the trees and the grass looked exactly the same. The palettes of this game, or palettes, the tiles, did not have good color palettes, that's what I'm trying to say, to give you a good idea of what everything was supposed to be in the world, and honestly, that's kind of a big issue. It might not seem big, but when you're actually playing, it just makes the game almost difficult to look at, and certainly difficult to navigate. So, unfortunately, I have to bring that up because it's just not that great. Overall, though, I would certainly say I enjoyed Victory Fire. The beginning, like I said, it just, bam, starts you right off going, and that's really fun, and it definitely kept me engaged the whole way through. As I said, with the Pokemon variety, I encountered, some Pokemon that I really like early on in the game, which is always a big bonus, I would say. Instead of just, the usual grass, normal, whatever you have on Route 1, you get some electric types and stuff. That's always nice. But the game definitely engaged me, and that's all I'm really looking for, even though I do have some negative things to say about the game. Overall, I did enjoy it quite a deal, and I would definitely recommend it. If you thought it looked interesting and you'd like to try and get farther than I did, which probably wouldn't be too hard, especially if you're not doing a Nuzlocke, I would definitely recommend it. Other than that, there's really not too much to say about it. So thanks for watching, and next Nuzlocke will be coming out, I suppose, this Tuesday, or not this Tuesday, the next Tuesday, and we will get our adventure going then. So thank you for watching, and be sure to come back for the next Nuzlocke.